pronouns she, her, hers. I am from Tampa, Florida, but I currently live in Washington, D.C., working as a program manager, and I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in organizational leadership. All that aside, I am a proud, angry, Black, bisexual woman, and I'm also a sexual assault survivor. So creating art helps me physically express whatever emotions, memories, or thoughts that I just can't put words to. And I also hope that through my art, I am bringing awareness to complex PTSD. I am very open and honest about my healing journey, especially because this shit ain't easy. And I am intentionally sharing my experiences, sharing my story, and not remaining silent. So the pieces that I chose represent some of the symptoms of complex PTSD that I have been learning about and personally navigating, whether it be isolation, body memories, hypervigilance, disassociation, and then my just overall view and perspective of the world. So through my art, I know that I am not alone and that I am not crazy, because these are trauma responses. And I use my art to basically give myself a voice. And I am very, very happy, also nervous, very nervous, but very, very happy to share my journey with you all, and I hope you enjoy.
Peace, y'all. My name is D.W. McCraven, pronouns they, them. I am an interdisciplinary artist, an educator, and a lifelong learner. And I just wanted to give a shout out to you all for coming through, checking out the video, and learning a little bit more about my work. So a lot of my work is really in dealing with identity and my intersectionality and how I've been able to maneuver throughout space, being mindful of that, and how it's been impacted by structures of whiteness and the white supremacist delusion. So how I'm moving in those space and identifying what I need. And some of those forms that I use are, or some of the forms you'd find my work in, is installation and video and film, theater, lyricism, modeling, pretty much anything that's a show, I'm there. All right, so I want to specifically talk about the works that I submitted to the Harvey Milk Festival, and one of them is the FB Buoyancy short film, also known as Michelada. And I brought my notes because sometimes I forget, and I wanna make sure I give you all the goods, all the good stuff. So when we talk about FB Buoyancy, the short film, I really am breaking down, it's like my first walk into accepting the fact that I've been indoctrinated into whiteness and white supremacist culture, and what that looks like on me. What does it look like when I've been moving in the world and the choices that I felt like I was making, but were really part of a system. So as you move through the film, you'll see these different pieces of me that are displayed throughout, of ways that I've really tried to cope with having to deal with whiteness, in essence. The ways that I've embodied those things in my body through the acting and the movement that I do in that specific film, and the ways that I'm attempting to kind of release these heteronormative behaviors, or these heteronormative, or break through these heteronormative processes. And so for me, it was like step one. I would classify it step one of starting to move through and break through of the ways that I've been indoctrinated into whiteness. And then when we move into the second video, when we move into the second video, which is 20 Thoughts, and that is a lyricism piece that's actually in the full-length FB Buoyancy show. And in that piece specifically, I think of it as the moment that I start to question the role that I've played in the inherent violence of whiteness. So I start to question what it means to be in my body, the responsibilities that I have as an adult, to think about what's happened in my life that led me to this place, and also to kind of walk in my truth. So it's the first moment that I start to translate. And again, these things parallel my life. So when I'm doing my work, it's paralleling the places that I am in my life in a lot of ways, because this is the response that's coming from the way that I'm moving in the world. So 20 Thoughts is the first time where I'm starting to address head on some of the things that lived in my body, some of the practices, the way that whiteness has been indoctrinated and become a practice in my life, and has taken up so much space and caused so much violence within me, and so much violence that I've projected out into the world because of the way that I've been moving within the system, or within the structure rather. And then the next piece that I submitted is the Recognize My Humanity. And that's kind of, I would say, when I'm moving into the edge, and I'm saying, you know what, I'm gonna recognize myself, I'm gonna recognize who I am in the world, and I'm gonna choose to heal. Because when I think about making that specific film, that series, I think about what it was emotionally that I was going through, and it's really dealing with being in institutionalized spaces, right? Institutionalized spaces that are created to uplift whiteness, right? To uplift the white supremacist delusion, and how I've decided that I have to make a decision here. I have to make a decision if I'm going to continue in this behavior, and then how do I move, or am I going to move out? And so when I think about Recognize My Humanity, I think about the active decision I made to say, you know what, I'm not going to deal with these oppressive structures anymore, and I'm going to move into a space that feels good for me, and I'm going to honor my own humanity, and I'm no longer going to violate myself, right? So when you're looking at the film, that is the way that I think reflects, or that really reflects the way that I've moved out of those spaces and have decided to create my own path of healing. And so with that, I also began to write lists of the ways that I've been indoctrinated into whiteness. What are the behaviors that I took on to really root it out of me? Like, how can I root it out? And also understanding that it's a lifelong process. I wrote a list to explicitly say the behaviors that I noticed that were spaces of whiteness that kind of shaped in my body and my mentality. And these are the things that I've been working through, and the processes that I've been working through. And I'm sure there are more things, but specifically I wanted to name the ways these things have shown up in my path, and you'll see these things show up essentially in my work as well. So the ways I've been indoctrinated and the ways that I'm unlearning whiteness. Policing of bodies through fashion and shame. Use of institutional language to shame people only using Black vernacular, specifically to assert my power. Believing in educational philosophies such as grit, engaging in the violence of comparison, suffering in silence. Perfectionism, subscribing to the idea that if I am perfect, I have a chance. Believing that being Black and poor had nothing to do with the structures of systemic oppression that whiteness built. And hating myself. So as part of my healing process, I became the co-founder of Counterculture Educator. And you can follow us on Counterculture Educator on Instagram, Counterculture Educator on Facebook. And a part of what we do is we help creative leaders turn around their community, one authentic relationship at a time, through community engagement practices, artistic expression, self-care, and play. How you can support Counterculture Educator is by donating to our GoFundMe, and the link is in the bio on the Instagram account. And I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to the Harvey Milk Festival for inviting me here and for the work that they're doing within their community, and essentially as creative leaders turning around the culture of their community as well. So peace, y'all, and I wish you a beautiful and joyful rest of the day. Hi. No. My pronouns are they, them, so I prefer DW. What are your pronouns? You love the work that I do with young people, so you're looking for more diversity. What exactly is your staff demographic? Basically, on two hands, you can count how many. Trying. Yep, kind of an open-ended question. What do you mean? I just want to be really honest and upfront. A lot of schools think that I'm coming in to save things. It's really a community building process. No, please call me DW. No. It's DW. Yeah, no, I mean, please again, it's DW. Yeah, I don't identify in that way. But yeah, I mean, thank you for giving a call. I am capable. I make art that people want to consume. I am enough. I am capable. I make art that people want to consume. I am enough. I am capable. I make art that people want to consume. I am enough.
Dear Human Resources, I asked my supervisor for advice on how to handle stress, and he suggested masturbation. Dear Human Resources, one of my colleagues sent me an email attempting to save my soul because he didn't agree with my upcoming nuptials. My supervisor took the time to write me up on my last day of work before I clocked out of my last shift for being 2 minutes late. Dear Human Resources, I know why you didn't address my report documenting the harassment and bullying directed at me in the workplace. It was easier not to.
Everything I've been through, not everything you see, everything I am, everything I hope, everything I dream, eyes wide shut, Cause open's too extreme when I see the price to be. Letting go of me, pressure creeps. And the public showing me I'm 3/5 of human, my skin ain't worth knowing me. If being a good person ain't what you say, but what you do. I done met a lot of bad people disguising agendas in a room. I call this the S effect. Shit on everyone but you. Everything different, everything you're not, everything you wish you could do. I have 20 thoughts, and every second of my life, 20 thoughts to help me move while second guessing in my life. Should I buy fried chicken from Whole Foods and eat it with a fork and knife? Or admit I don't fuck with fried chicken, but watermelons are alright? Although I'm not a criminal, how do I stay up out of prison? If a gun's in my body, is the person holding Trump or Martin's vision. If I follow every rule, I'll be progressing in my life. Constitution in effect, adding stress up in my life. My family preach a gospel, not respecting of my life. Following all fathers, be rejecting of my life. So I call myself spiritual and protector of my wife, protector of myself, a nigga with superpowers in the night. I'm not saying I'm always right, but I'm mostly never wrong. 20 thoughts, and every second of my life, 20 thoughts that help me move while second guessing in my life. 20 thoughts keep me surviving the attempts upon my life. 20 thoughts, every second. 20 thoughts, and every second of my life. 20 thoughts help me move while second guessing in my life. 20 thoughts keep me surviving the attempts upon my life. 20 thoughts, 20 thoughts. I don't know how I feel about God. Is it truth or was slavery taught? Religion wanna bring us together, but that shit just tear us apart. I fake straight to dodge hate. Is that selling out? I find more peace in silence and more violence when helping out. If I wasn't who I was, this shit wouldn't apply to even people in my culture. Find ways to vilify me, coping with mental illness. Suicides out to find me emotionally complex. I'm valuable as is, had to reflect on how I got this way, forgot my respect. And I deserve it. Code switch and replay. Not my purpose, try to get by every day. Doing a disservice, how did I get this way? Had to reflect, emotionally complex. And I'm still hurt, just my thoughts.
envelopes wrapped inside a third. Promised us the contents were Omega's holy word. So we turn to our brothers, paired up like shoes. We'll taste the nectar of the alpha brother 2 by 2. Raise your head with your mouth toward the moonrise. In his left hand fingers was a pack of smokes. His lungs both shivered when a speckled tongue spoke.
I kinda wanna be a leader, so my mind can see me be a culture savvy, well-redeemer, Robin Hood and savvy schemer. Put cyanide in my meat gelato. You know my faith in an extra comma. I keep my God touch inside my wallet. She keeps me warm, yeah, she keeps me honest.
God is
I see a secret to all the people I mistreated. I hope you end up where everything's golden and true.
I need a lot of spice in my drink. I keep love under sheets and ice in my drink. I'm trying to think, but I can't think with this fucking voice in my head. Snake eyes in the sink. My future flashes in my eyes when I blink. And I feel it's best that I'm high when I sing, cause buried my soul is a tireless thing. And true love is wrapped up in timing, I think. Will you credit love as being everything you ever needed? Yeah, buddy, I got a little bit of money now. I keep a couple Kama Sutra copies in my glove compartment. Cause when she's in heat, I treat her like the mid of August. Just trying to be honest, dog. Just trying to be calm in it all. Just trying to hold faith in this quote penned on the back of this bathroom stall. I never wanted it all. My brain's a planet and I can fit it inside this 10-gallon hat. So maybe we're all penny small, going through dollar withdrawal, stuck under a copper ceiling and a nickel wall. Oh dog, fuck it all.
I hope you end up where everything's golden and true. It's gone in the details of it. Yeah, you and E-pills are why. Get lost in the calm of my heart. Ay, ay, ay. It's gone in the details of it. Liquor, females, white books, and sea sails, fast cars, and sheep bills. I think that it's all the same.
My name is Anyeko Du. I am a queer, Black, non-binary, multidisciplinary artist living and working in Toronto, Canada. I use they, them pronouns. My identity, being a first-generation Canadian and queer and non-binary, is something that heavily influences my work. I work mostly in two mediums, film being the main one, as a writer-director, and my second one, my second chosen medium is illustration. Digital illustration was something, drawing in general is something that I got into really early in life. It was the first kind of art thing my parents taught me how to do. I started drawing cars and never looked back. And I now use illustration as a means of getting my innermost feelings, that things that I can't find the words to describe. I draw, and I feel like that's kind of been very therapeutic for me. I mostly draw about a lot of the same things that I'm very inspired by in terms of my film work. So nostalgia, coming of age, a lot of things that have to do with like queerness and identity, and music as the shaper of characters and worlds and people, but also things that I feel like if I were to write about would contribute to a feeling of just like a larger picture of people who are contributing to and feeling a whole bunch of things that are negative about the world that we live in, and especially with the world that we live in and me being who I am and the way that I identify, there are a lot of things that very much so affect me. And so I found light at the end of the tunnel, sort of say, by drawing these feelings out. And so a lot of the work is very personal to me. It really has to do with my identity and who I am, but also my place in the world as it exists now, and seeing my existence as political. Aside from the art, I also run my own t-shirt company, clothing brand, called Summer of Love Club. It was a project that I started really out of just wanting to wear clothes that I really liked. I am not a person who goes shopping regularly. A lot of my clothing is thrifted, and I was inspired by my favorite pop star had released an album, and the merchandise that they were putting out wasn't the greatest, so it kind of kicked me in the butt, and I was like, I absolutely can design something better than this. And it started with that, and now it's moved on to an online store. And I am currently doing a GoFundMe to raise some money so that I can be the sole proprietor of my business, so that my practices can align with my politics. And so the website for that is summerofloveclub.com. Instagram is @summerofloveclub, and Twitter is @summerofloveclub, but love is spelled LUV. And if you want to find a bit more about me and my work, I have a website, onyakodu.com. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter. On Instagram, I am Queen Dweeb. Queen Dweeb spelt as it is, because I made it in 2010 and nobody had that username. And Twitter as Dweeb Queen. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'm so grateful to the Harvey Milk Festival for putting me on and uplifting queer BIPOC voices. I think it's very important so that we can see the world through other people's eyes and find the beauty in the current chaos.
Hey y'all, my name is Sarah Bryant Cole. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a textile designer based out of Berkeley, California. I currently go to the Rhode Island School of Design, and I'm studying for my BFA in textile. Most of my work is knitted or silk screened. I just feel very drawn to those two mediums. Knitting especially is my absolute favorite. I love the softness and the versatility that it has. And silk screen, I feel, because I love to draw so much as well, I think that silk screen is just a really fun way to kind of blend textiles and illustration. So I use both of those mediums quite a lot. In terms of my background, I grew up in a family of artists. My mom's entire side of the family, like everyone is an artist, so I've just been surrounded by art through my entire upbringing, and it's just been such a huge part of my life. My grandma has a studio practice, and it makes it a lot easier to tap into creativity just because it's been a part of my life since I can remember. I think that my perspective is a little bit different coming from my family because I'm one of the only people of color on that side of the family. Being Black and queer kind of gives me a point of view that I feel like no one else in my family really has, and even like no one who's only Black and no one who's only queer has the experience of knowing what it's like to be Black and queer. So I really try to bring that perspective into my work. I try to do that not only to make my point of view more understood and like more widely known, I do it also as a way for me to process things like my own feelings and things that have happened to me. I find that artwork can often be like a very therapeutic thing, and there's been many times where I've made decisions in my artwork and like it's just felt right. It's just kind of felt like a gut kind of decision, and then it's taken like somebody asking me about why I made that choice and having to articulate it to them. That's really helped me like process a lot of my thoughts that I didn't really know how to articulate before. So my practice is it also kind of functions as like a journal or a diary, and I also kind of get that from my grandmother because she has a studio practice, but she doesn't really let a lot of people come into her studio. Because of that, her artwork hasn't really seen the light of day up until recently. And I guess because I grew up with that kind of culture around art, it has been like something very personal and something very intimate. So I do really try and put as much of my emotions into my work as I can. I find a lot of inspiration from the natural world. I think that just visually, like, nature has so much to offer. But just also looking like spiritually and historically at symbols in nature really informs a lot of my work. For example, another piece that I did uses the like symbol of a corpse lily, and it has a really strong scent that smells like rotting flesh, which is why it's called the corpse lily. It's kind of dubbed like the world's smelliest flower, and I chose it because it repels humans, it repels a lot of animals. The only things that it attracts are pollinators to help it thrive, essentially. And I chose it as a symbol to describe the family that we've created as queer people and the community that we've surrounded ourselves with, because I think that a lot of people do look onto the queer community with disgust and find it to be repulsive, which is something that I know many of us have had to deal with. But the community itself, when you're in it and you're just surrounded by the love that people have and the support that people will give you, it just shows that we attract the right people. The people who find us repulsive can be repelled. That is fine. I don't need them around me. None of us need them around us. We have chosen families. We have supportive family members. We have other members of the queer community. And this piece is really about celebrating ourselves and finding the love within ourselves. That piece is called We Find Ourselves to Be Beautiful. That's about all I have to say about my practice. Thank you all so much for watching and for listening to me talk about my work. I hope everyone's doing okay out there. I know it's like, you know what's going on, so yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Everybody, my name is Tylia Janae, but most people know me by Ty. I am a South Florida artist, originally from Fort Myers, but I've spent the last 5 years here in St. Petersburg. So I like to call myself a multifaceted minority, being biracial, queer, a female, name a minority, and I probably fall under that category, if not, probably close to it. I just like to use my art as a way to express some of the things that we deal with that people who don't fall into that minority group may not be privy to, or just may be ignorant to in general, or I don't know a nicer way to say that. But I also internalize a lot of my own trauma, and I like to be able to give somebody a outlet, whether it be verbal or not, because verbal communication doesn't work for everybody, doesn't work for me, and that's why I use art. And some people, hopefully seeing it can give them that security or giving them that solidarity that they're not alone. So hope you guys enjoy, find some fun, some beauty, some something in my art. Hope it sparks something in you. If you'd like to follow me, my Instagram is @typicaltylia. That's typical, Tylia. Or if you'd like to follow just my art page, it's Putas y Pendejas, which I will put somewhere, hopefully, on this if I get this in time.
Hi, my name is Ronnie. Pronouns she, her, they, them. I currently reside in Florida and I'm a mixed media collage artist. I prefer to focus on things like anxiety, depression, or both at the same time in a lot of my work. Other times I like to focus on just the general feeling of human existence. So often you're kind of told to shadow your feelings and make them something they're not, and I choose to use my art to do the exact opposite of that. One of my greatest inspirations is Martha Rossler, who did the War in Your Living Room series, where she took collage art and showcased the Vietnam War being brought directly into your living room. It kind of inspired me to portray these same raw things we all go through emotionally and societally with my own version of collage art. It's vaguely a form of therapy for me. I think that oftentimes societally we're kind of told to hide our emotions under the guise of something else, and that's never anything I've been very good at or a fan of. And I like to use my work to express the way that I feel, the way I hope that other people can relate to feeling, to touch on like the little eccentricities of life that's very passed over. Just take images from magazines, from books, things that have inspired me, things that have inspired me specifically just to change them and make them in my own unique vision. For personal things, in addition to my art, you can find me on Instagram with the hashtag YouthAnAngel, just @YouthAnAngel. And for just art related information, you can find me at YouthAnAngel Art. The link is in my bio on Instagram.
Hey everybody, my name is Bianca J. Russell, but you can call me Just B. And I am an artist and a singer-songwriter and a dancer and a poet. It's a lot of things. But my whole mission is to promote peace, love, and healing through music, through movement, and through art. In my art, I like to capture things that I think are beautiful, love, moments of healing, moments of recognition, when you recognize things about yourself. I love trying to portray or capture things like that. But also I have an ongoing series called Kill with Kindness, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a bunch of paintings with people holding guns, and it's not because I promote violence. I don't promote violence at all, but when we talk about the universal intelligence, I like to think of it as a gun, God, universe, nature. And when you act in love with those things behind you, you never know what kind of death you can bring about to another human being. And I'm talking about specifically the death of ego, or the death of, the things that block our true self, our just being, the things that block that. So random acts of kindness can do that, and you may not even know it just by being kind. And so I always say, load up with love and shoot aimlessly, shoot first. Don't give someone a reason to make you feel like you have to do something kind. Just do it, because it all comes back around. We should be caring for each other, and there are people out there who are literally dying inside, and something so small could change that. So I like to inspire that in my art as well. And I just want everybody to get into this idea. People look at me and they're like, wow, you do so many things and you're so talented. You can too. You can literally do anything that you set your mind to. And in that way, I observe the bees whose fat little bodies are too big for their wings to technically take flight. But they wake up every day and they don't care about human laws of physics. And they fly, and they do their thing, and they achieve the impossible. So that is my hope and my intention for all of you, is to just be great, just be wonderful, just be beautiful, just be free, just be.
Hi, my name's Ashley, and I go by she, her pronouns. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce myself. I make art that encourages an analysis of subject matter that seems to clash, and illustrating how different things can merge together in the same space and become something different. How something beautiful or delicious can become something that is disturbing. how something chaotic or disgusting can become something that is provocative, and in what ways can we reevaluate our dispositions and how we see and operate in the world, and with these things that cause knee-jerk reactions. And then I also create to kind of flesh out these questions about my own identity and the spaces that I occupy and the roles that I play. I use the work to navigate my relationships to different things, to truly dive deeper into an understanding of what repels me, what repulses me, and what draws me in, what brings me closer. And why does this movement happen in this direction? Why is this push or pull happening? Why is this rub happening? And so my work, I hope to bring it to you in hopes that you would also join me in that path of discovery, of this endeavor of figuring out, where do I define myself? What are my coordinates in this weave of life? Where do I live here in this space, in this time? And where are we going as well? So I hope that you begin to engage passionately and consciously with the work that you will get to see with the other artists as well as mine, and try to navigate some harder questions, some tougher questions that can bring us together into a discussion that can bring some light to things that usually are left in the dark, and so that we can really get clear on who we define ourselves to be. Who are you, and is that what you want to be? So where are you going now? Hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Jean Richardson, and I'm a visual illustrator. I'm Trinidadian and Canadian, and currently living in Toronto, Ontario. My mediums I currently work with are pen, marker, and pencil. And I've been creating art for just over 2 years, which actually just started with me picking up a sketch pad and bag of colored pencils with one of my friends going to an art store. And it's just grown from there. So my artistry is basically a combination of pencil sketches and a lot of owl drawings, but now my main focus has been on drawing people that look like me. I'm a queer Black artist, and I want to represent the queer Black community. And so I think it's important to use that platform to illustrate your background and be a voice to people around the world. That representation matters. It's important to draw Black people if you're Black, and because, well, for me, that's my default setting. I've never really thought of filling in the skin of a person I've drawn with anything but a brown marker. So, but I just also think it's important as a female to showcase and be proud of our work, and as well as queer too. It's just multiple layered intersectionality of artists out there, and I really want to thank the Harvey Milk Festival for using this platform to allow us to share our art and to talk about ourselves and our stories, many of which no one would ever heard of if it wasn't for the work that's being done here. And well, so particularly right now, considering the year we've been having in 2020, My activism has awoken much more than before. I've felt drawn to create powerful images and speak my mind on social media and use my art to be more impactful and illustrate the message rather than stifling it. And it's just important that everybody that has a message that's important, that they feel free and able to express that. And it's just unhealthy to stay quiet and when you have such a beautiful message to share with the world, such as art. If your art is dance, poetry, painting, whatever it is, it's something that needs to come out. And for me right now, this is where I am with my art. I'm self-taught, so a lot of my technique has been things I've picked up from YouTube videos, Pinterest, Instagram, time-lapse videos of my favorite artists creating things and just experimenting. So especially when it comes to coloring black skin, it's not easy. A lot of color goes in other than brown to actually make it look realistic. So that's what I've been trying to focus on, which I have been, but I also do commissions, so a lot of different types of things that come up. I'm not going to say no if I'm able to and the time permits. And I also have most of my creations are available for sale, and I do have prints available as well of most of my pieces. So my Instagram is @SRichArtist. That's my main platform. I don't have a website just yet, but I am working on it, and I appreciate all the love, and thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Kai Thompson and my pronouns are she and her. I live in Washington, D.C., but I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a program analyst and I work on a government program currently, but I'm generally interested in the areas of community development, food systems, and communities of color. One of the aspects that I love to research, and one of the most important aspects of what makes up a community for me, is the art scene. Through art, folks have always found a way to voice their issues, express themselves, and envision a better world. I started making art as a kid, mostly collage and crafting, because I didn't really have a natural talent for drawing like my father had. However, both my parents instilled in me and my sister the importance of art, especially for Black folks, and for becoming a more well-rounded person. As an adult, I realized that art was really helpful for a bunch of different marginalized folks and people at different intersections. I make art mostly as an escape, but I also use it to think about what I want to see more of in the world. If you want to check out more of my art, you can check out my personal blog, which is kdtfunctional.com, or you can check out my Instagrams. at the same spots, which has a lot of my artwork on it, as well as just some random photography, and then my personal Instagram, which is also KDT Functional.